Uh, the next topic is related to the placement of ad. We all know that it is not only related to SEOs or SCMs or SCRP. Even the placement of ad in a particular place in an interface is very much important. We can easily see how exactly ads are placed in a various aspects, looking at the specific areas where the publisher's website obviously expects their advertisements to be displayed. And ad placement is one such important thing that has to be taken into consideration as important aspect, because this is the one thing where the audiences always, whenever they visit any of the search engines, basically this is the first thing they usually expect to see once they start clicking on the search button. And apart from that, we need to also look at various things pertaining to ad placements, where people are considering this as one of the important aspects of search engine optimization. And when we look at understanding the various ad placements, basically ads are placed in five important places in a web page. First thing is the search bar, second one is at the top place, and third one is the side portion, and fourth one is the organic results, and last one is the bottom part of the web page. So here, as you can see, all these five important aspects with respect to ad placements plays a very important role. If you can see, both Google search engine as well as Yahoo, and also in case of Bing, you can see always the search bar is always placed at the top or at the center of a web page. And even in many of the websites, you can see key advertisements are always placed at the top, because that is a place where you expect your audiences to have a direct visibility of such ads. And apart from that, ads which doesn't have that much of uh, priority, or you can say that out of 100, if the priority is rated at around 60%, those ads are basically placed on the sides of a website, either on the right hand side or on the left hand side. And apart from that, we also try to get some of the organic results based on the keywords that has been typed in your search bar. And based on that, some of the ads which have very less priorities will always be taking at the bottom portion of a web page, which usually makes a lot of sense with respect to understanding where exactly the ad has to be placed. And next thing is to understand what are the major tools that are required for the best ad placement. And the commonly used tools are, first one is the Google Analytics, or which is formerly known as search engine optimization tool. The basic functionality of using this tool is to monitor the traffic as well as the audiences. Traffic in the sense means how much of people who are visiting the websites, and audiences means to which category of audiences they are visiting. That can be in terms of geographical aspect or demographical factors. And Google Analytics also provides ample opportunity to understand where exactly the source of traffic is coming, based on identifying something called as the IP address. And apart from that, the Google Analytics will also help us to understand which are the mostly used devices that are basically accessed. Devices in the sense means whether they are accessing using a desktop, laptop, or even what you call as handheld devices like mobile smartphones, as well as iPads or any other tabs. And geographic wise distribution will also help us to understand which part of the world are the major audiences you are expecting. And this is why Google Analytics or SEO tools plays a very prominent role. And apart from that, we should also look at the second thing is with respect to the traffic analysis. Here, the first step to any of the ad revenue optimization is to understand the audiences, which basically starts with the numbers such as the monthly users, as well as which are the most viewed page. These things are the inputs where you are going to get after using Google Analytics to check which country is offering the majority of traffic. Say, for example, in the recently concluded IPL, apart from India, there was a lot of interest generated with the viewers from Australia as well as from United States, leaving aside some of the European nations like United Kingdom or even the France, which was getting more traffic towards watching the live streaming telecast that was done on behalf of BCCI, and this should also help to choose the ad placement depending on the popularity among advertisers in that particular region. And in this context, usually ad placement plays a very important role to understand how well these ads are supported in that region. And apart from that, we should also understand by looking at this particular graphs, we can easily able to see which country is able to generate more traffic based on their geographical locations and how many people have visited and so on and so forth. This is a good thing about what you can find out in Google Analytics. And apart from that, the third important point what we need to look at is with respect to ad viewability. This ad viewability basically it is not just because you have placed an ad and your website that doesn't mean that users are compulsion to see your all those advertisements, and this ad viewability always become an important metric for advertisement to see to what extent people are watching your ads. And for example, we have a company called as Digiday, which always says that 54% of the ads aren't being viewable for most of the audiences because they'll be installing too many ad blockers, and these ad blockers usually would act as a firewall to restrict the user to view such advertisements. And sometimes these sort of activities may always create some frustration among the advertisers, since half of their spending is totally wasted because only about 46% of viewers are watching your ad and 54% are not watching, means it doesn't sound a good number since people are investing that much amount of money regarding that. And the other important aspect, one what we need to look at is the performance of already placed ad units. Generate a report of your existing ad placements in such a way that their performances are considered as the basis for viewable impressions. And this is always an outcome of something called as CTR, or it is also called as the click-through rates, which are the major contributor for the overall revenue generation. By keeping all these things in mind, it is always best to keep a best performing ones and reconsider the unsatisfactory one, which doesn't fetch you any return on investment in the context of company's economics. And also, these numbers should always serve as a baseline to compare further test results in order to get the desired outcome. And when we look at this particular slide, we can easily able to see how exactly display ads are taken into consideration with respect to value to the inventory. Say for example, display ads always work for most of the websites with average user engagements, and we have another type of ads that is basically called as native ads, which offer non-intrusive ad experience by showing ad layout similar to the web page contents. And later on, we have another type of ads that is basically related to the video ads, wherein which it offers the maximum engagement with the customer because it has got both the text as well as the visual media, and customers are usually get attracted to this sort of ads where it has got something called as both audio and visual system, and at many instances we ourselves would have experienced this sort of video ads which usually auto plays on itself whenever we are visiting any of the websites. And these sort of things more oftenly we can experience it in YouTube whenever we log into that particular YouTube website. Some of the other ads without any notice it will start running on its own, and these are one of the things which sometimes would mandatory make the viewers to watch such videos without having any interventions with any of those things related to the ads.